All right, let's dive into some pretty stark realities today. Our world is so digital now.
It really is.
And unfortunately, that reaches into some really, really difficult areas, especially around childhood safety. Today, we're doing a crucial deep dive. We're looking at the lasting impact of childhood image-based sexual abuse, or IBSA.
Yeah.
We're focusing on a recent paper, one that really tracks how these experiences affect young adults, often, years later.
And what's really fascinating here, and quite urgent, I think, is how this study goes beyond just the big numbers.
Right.
It digs into the specifics of each incident, what they call incident-level factors.
Incident-level factors, like what exactly?
Well, things like how old the victim was, how long the abuse went on, who did it, the details.
Okay.
And getting that granular really helps us understand the nuances of IBSA's impact. It's based on the experiences of over 2,800 young adults.
Wow, that's a significant number.
It is. So our mission here is to kind of unpack these critical details for you.
And the scale we're talking about, it's genuinely staggering. It gives you a real sense of urgency.
Yeah, the numbers are shocking.
In 2023 alone, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's CyberTipline, that's their online reporting system, got nearly 36 million reports just involving IBSA.
36 million.
And that number, it surged over 300% in just 2 years.
300%. It's hard to even grasp that kind of increase.
So what is it about IBSA that makes it so uniquely devastating? Especially, compared to other kinds of abuse.
Well, this study really zeroes in on a key difference. The images.
The images themselves.
Exactly. These aren't just moments in time that pass. The digital nature means they can be shared, reshared, endlessly, really.
That creates this constant, persistent anxiety, doesn't it? Something other abuse forms might not have in the same way.
Precisely. It's chilling, the idea that the abuse potentially never ends because the images could always resurface. Closure becomes incredibly difficult.
Yeah, peace seems almost impossible under those conditions.
That's it. This digital permanence creates a unique psychological weight, and it shows up long term.
How so?
We're talking serious mental health challenges, chronic depression, severe anxiety, deep shame, and real trouble forming trusting relationships later in life.
And the study put numbers to that.
It did, powerfully. It found that in nearly a third, 29% specifically of all the reported IBSA incidents, victims felt a significant or devastating life impact.
And that impact was still felt years later as young adults.
Yes, still felt. Which really drives home that while not every incident has the same severity, a really substantial portion causes profound, lasting harm.
Almost a third feeling that level of impact.
Yeah.
That's huge. So when they dug deeper, what specifically seemed to cause this lasting harm? Were there clear factors?
Absolutely. Several crucial factors jumped out as increasing the odds of that lasting impact.
Okay, like what?
For instance, incidents involving victims who were 12 years old or younger.
Really young.
Yeah, those cases had a much higher rate of significant lasting impact, almost 46%. It suggests a real vulnerability then, maybe fewer coping skills, or the betrayal feels deeper.
That makes sense. What else?
Also, incidents that lasted 1 month or longer, duration matters.
Right.
Nearly half of those led to devastating effects. Prolonged exposure seems to really deepen the trauma.
Right, the constant nature of it.
And importantly, IBSA involving non-consensual taking or sharing of images, that consistently showed the highest rates of lasting impact.
Which really highlights that violation of trust and control.
Exactly. Autonomy is stripped away.
That's incredibly insightful. It's just where the biggest risks are.
Ah.
But, it makes me wonder about different groups. Research often points to more vulnerability for sexual and gender minority youth, LGBTQ plus individuals. Did this study find that too?
That's a really important question, and the study found something more nuanced.
No.
It wasn't that SGM youth were uniformly more impacted across all types of incidents.
Okay, so not a blanket finding.
No. But there was a specific, quite powerful exception for gender minority youth.
Yes.
Incidents involving an adult dating partner were nearly 4 times more likely to lead to a significant or lasting impact.
4 times. Wow. That really challenges some assumptions, doesn't it? It points to a very specific vulnerability there.
It does. It shows we need to be careful about generalizations.
And speaking of challenging assumptions, There was another intriguing finding about who the perpetrator was, right?
Yes, quite surprising, actually. Incidents where a juvenile friend was responsible.
A friend.
Yeah, a friend who was also a juvenile. Those incidents were actually less likely to result in lasting impact compared to cases with unknown people or even other types of juvenile perpetrators.
Less likely. That really goes against the grain of what you might think.
It does. It forces us to rethink where the harm comes from and maybe where prevention needs to focus. It's not always about strangers or adults being the most damaging.
Definitely complicates the picture.
Exactly. And it underlines the critical need for really tailored prevention and intervention. We just can't make broad assumptions.
So you can't just assume the impact based on adult versus juvenile or stranger versus acquaintance.
Not solely, no. What really matters are these specific incident details, the age, the duration, how the images were used, and how they interact with who the victim is, their identity, their experiences.
This deep dive really makes you stop and think just how complex the aftermath of IBSA is. It's so clear it's not a one-size-fits-all issue. The nuances are everything.
Indeed. The findings show such a diversity of experiences and impacts. It demands a much more sophisticated approach from us.
So considering all these vital nuances, the big question left for all of us, for you listening, is...
Yeah, how can we actually foster resilience? How do we develop support systems for survivors that are truly effective because they acknowledge and address these really diverse pathways to lasting harm?